Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're gonna give you the best tips for the first months in a courtship. Stay here with us.
Welcome to our podcast.
We are Edwin
And Sara.
Together towards sainthood.
So, baby, what's up? Tell me, what are we gonna be talking about here in this our third podcast?
Yes, it's her third podcast, and as you guys listen or watch us, we were talking about how to be single and also how to date. And now today we're gonna talk about that amazing 6 months in a courtship that are so beautiful, full of butterflies. But at the same time, we want to give you guys 3 tips that are super important that you guys start working on from day one in that relationship. So we're gonna just go over them really quick. So the first one is chastity. Yes, I know maybe you're bored about hearing about chastity from us, but we talk about chastity so much because we wouldn't be here because of it. And it is the total truth. So that's the first thing. The second thing is getting to know each other well, fully. And then last one is having a purpose in that relationship, which is matrimony. So Edwin, go ahead with that first tip of chastity.
Yeah, so here it goes. So we have a phrase that it's from a Spanish movement. It's called opción B.
V.
Yeah, option B in English though. And it says here, for love not to be contaminated, chastity is necessary. And here's the thing, like, chastity is so necessary that without chastity, there will be no holy matrimony really well lived at all. So here's the thing, in my point of view, the point that I want to give over here is that, look guys, we're flesh, we know that, you know, from the renal scene, we have something inside of us that makes us, you know, to be fighting against our spiritual realm of either I sin or not, should I do this, should I do that? And chastity help us to say a yes to true love. And therefore, when you practice chastity in the courtship, it makes you just be a better person. It makes you to be a better boyfriend or girlfriend. And foremost, it's gonna help you to be the best wife or husband in the marriage. So here it goes. We're gonna fail. We're gonna fall, and it's okay to fail. I mean, thank God we got, you know, confessions. You know, so once you fall, don't just stay there in the mud. You have to get up. Don't just stay there in the sin, because this is the thing. Once we start feeling comfortable in the sin, demons are gonna come against us. They're gonna come and just gonna destroy our courtship. Why? Let me explain you in a few words. We're not gonna go all about spiritual warfare within the courtship or whatever. Well, I'm gonna give you this tip real quick. This is the thing. Once you are in the sin of lust, there is a demon specifically for the lust, that when you're in the courtship, babe, the thing is that, let's say, it happened because we failed. I fell a lot, right? Me as a man, I'm not excusing myself, but that's what it is. So at some point in our relationship, when I didn't want myself, because we can be trying together, because this is the thing about chastity, we can be trying together, but if I don't really want to by myself, my own personal self, watching pornography, masturbating, and etc., what's going to happen is the sin of the demon of lust is going to get in my mind, because, well, not get in my mind, but confuse my thoughts, you know. Those thoughts can be controlled by the demons if you open the door through sin. And yes, if you're thinking about lust and stuff, and if you're sinning with that sin, it's gonna happen, and then you're gonna depict it, your partner, and you're gonna be looking at her so many ways that are not true love, and you're just gonna be thinking about sex and trying to have a relationship with this person, and that's not gonna help you to get into, you know, sainthood, courtship, and even matrimony.
Right. We all want true love. You know, even from when we were children, we always wanted that true love, perfect love, which only God gives us. But true love comes from chastity, because you're able not to see your desires and your partner's desires. It's like you see the true person. So something that helps us in a relationship that we really advise for you guys to do in those first months is to do a promise to our Virgin Mary. So you can go to a church that is specifically for Mary and just go in front of her and make a promise together to go into chastity. When we started our relationship, we took the decision to be in chastity, and it went really great for us, and it's been amazing. But years later, we decided to make that promise, and since we made that promise, the commitment has been even stronger, because now you don't want to put your partner into hell, which is literally what you do when you're not in chastity. And also, you do not want to fail God. But on top of that, you do not want to fail Virgin Mary. So it's like more pressure, but it's at the same time, she gives you that amazing grace to do it. So do not be afraid to start from day one and make that decision, because if you really want somebody who's going to love you for who you are, you need to set that limit. Chastity is like a filter. So when you tell somebody, hey, this is what I want us to do in a relationship, if that person says yes and they're committed, then that means that relationship is good to go, because true love is starting to build up. So if you do not want a love that's contaminated, if you don't want things going on like worriness about your partner being unfaithful to you, all of that builds from chastity. Because if you two are chaste, you will completely have complete confidence in your relationship and in each other.
That's right. And we're not gonna go above and beyond just specifically of chastity. We'll do a whole throughout, like steps and etc. and tips and etc. about chastity itself. But let's go on the second point of these base points in the first month. And the second point has to do with getting to know yourself truly and getting to know them, and also giving yourself to them openly. Like we got a saying, like when you're praying, you just, get naked in front of God, but obviously, it's not taking your clothes off. It's actually, open your heart to God as you are. Mm-hmm. And the same thing should happen between you and your partner, obviously, if you're, pursuing marriage. Because there's no way, like we have a quote and it says this: you cannot love what you don't know. Because listen, let me tell you, once we got once we understood that and we started working on that, it was so weird. Like it was amazing, because I was like, man, I didn't know a lot of stuff that I am. Like I didn't know I was like this. And there were a lot of things I didn't want to accept the word myself. And once I started looking into myself and really knowing who I am, I started even, giving myself to Sara as I am, as a naked body, not as a naked body, but soul, open my heart to her in the same way she did to me. And once this started happening, man, let me tell you, that was the best thing that ever happened to us. Aside from chastity and God, obviously.
So many great things.
Yeah, because I started to seeing her and loving her for who she is, for who you are, babe. Because with all your defects and with all your qualities, and accepting, like, you know what, I choose to love you, knowing who you truly are. So like it's amazing. And like, baby, what else can you tell us about getting to know ourselves and giving each other as it is?
Well, it's so important, because when we come into a relationship like this, like courtship, we bring tons of stuff in our bags, and we call it the book bag. It's so many things that we carry. We carry great things, our personality, our values, which are amazing. But we also bring things that are not so great, like the traumas that we have, our past relationships that didn't work, things that happened to us when we were little that has been affecting us for the way we are. And we bring all those things, and if we do not set time to explicitly talk about this, then later on in the relationship,
it will come up.
It's gonna come up, and then you're gonna be like, why didn't you tell me? And then it's a whole thing, because you've been dating somebody for all this time that you didn't even really know. And not only that, but also a lot of like fighting comes from that. So if you really set time, we call it like a date, you know, just have a couple of dates to really put yourself up in your book completely, you know, without being ashamed, because a lot of people are like, do I really have to tell everything? Yes, even the ugliest thing you have done, and even the most hurtful thing that has happened to you, you have to tell that to a person, because from there they're going to take what really love is, because they're gonna love you knowing you, you know, because I cannot be saying, oh, I love you, but you don't really know that person. So if you really want to set true love, you gotta open your heart completely, and believe me, trust is gonna come so great. You know, you're not gonna be thinking, oh, would he be looking at somebody else? No, not at all, because you know that person completely, and that person knows you completely for who you are.
Yeah. And something else that we want to add to that, because it's a huge topic. We have a little workshop. No, it's a big workshop about this specific topic, which is the book back in the courtship, in the relationship. And let me tell you, it's huge. If you guys want us to do it again, just let us know down here in the comments, or send us a DM through our Instagram or whatever. And here's another thing, a little story from outside, right? About like getting to know who we really are. Because this is the thing. I was raised within the sport world, you know, like sport was really important in my life. You know, I used to play baseball, then basketball, and Sara, right? Like the other side, babe did not raised up like that. She just like sports, things like that were like insignificant. Then what happened was that when we're, you know, at the beginning of the relationship, we were in high school, and I was a captain of the volleyball team. And man, can you believe that she was not there the whole time? Like she would like miss a lot of games, even practice. And like I would feel like so bad about it. Like I started doubting myself. Like, why she's not supporting me? Is it that I'm not enough for her? Is it that I'm not important for her? But the thing is that it was not just strictly me. It was just that for real, like sport was not her thing. So in a way, I didn't understand where she was coming from. Therefore, I was started judging her judgment, her own thoughts, without even knowing where that comes from. And that's why it's important to know the background of that person, because that way you'll be able to understand the way, the things that you think about, what you think about this way, what you talk about this way, what's your perception about things, right? So that helped us a lot, because, you know, after we saw that difference there, we're like, okay, well, what is going on? Why is it that you're not supporting me? Am I not? And then, you know, she started, you know, helping out and saying things like
what?
I'll say, you know, she started like, oh look, it's not about you. It's not like I don't like. It's not like you're not important for me. But just like I just get bored from the volleyball. Like I don't understand the game.
Right. So then we just found like a middle point,
a common
obviously.
ground.
But this is just something very simple, and you'll be like, what? But yes, it's very simple.
A lot of fights.
We had a lot of fights just because of that. But there's other things that are not so simple as that. So things like if something really bad happened to you when you were little, and then you bring that into a relationship, and you have those wounds that you carry into a relationship, and the thing is that you're going to start seeing that person from those wounds, you know. And let's say, I'll give like a short example. Let's say in your family, your parents got divorced, and it was a trauma for you and your siblings. You bring that to a relationship. So every time that your partner, let's say, is talking just in the street, saying to a girl, hey, listen, this is the restaurant, I don't know, just showing something, or a friend, you're gonna be thinking, oh, he's being unfaithful to me, right? Because that's what you bring from your family, you know. So if you tell your partner all of these things from the beginning, now from the beginning you can know what are you into. And not only that, but you're going to start seeing, how can I help each other grow? How can I help my partner grow out of this womb? How can we help each other? So it's so important. And I know that the first months you don't want to scare your boyfriend or your girlfriend about these creepy things that you did before. But true is that if that person really cares for you, and really wants to love you, they would not care if it's creepy or not. Let me tell you, I've told Edwin creepy stuff and he told me weird stuff too. But here we are because we said, you know what? That's in the past, but thank you for trusting me and telling me all of this. And now let's build together what's coming next.
That's right. And that was all for the second point. Now, the third point. The Holy Spirit helped me out over here with this phrase that came out to my head in my heart. And it says the following. I'm going to read it because I don't want to misspell or whatever. You know, this is not my first language.
You're not writing.
Well, misworded. You see that? Anyway, it says this. If we do not walk with our sight towards marriage, courtship is worthless. Oh, Edwin, how dare you say that? How dare you say that courtship is worthless? Yes, it is worthless. Because let's just have this perspective, right? Let's say you're already in a courtship of 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you just start to hang out, you just start to have fun. And I understand, I mean, you should have fun and all of that stuff. And also, you know, you're probably getting to know each other, whatever. But if you don't have that vision towards marriage, it's worthless. Why? Because once you hit that wall and you're like, man, I need to think about, am I really gonna marry this person? And you're being 3 years and you never thought about it before, you're like, man, I will never marry this person. Then what? Then you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Then you break up. Then you lost those 3 years because you didn't start from the beginning, from this 6 months with that vision together. You need to make a commitment, not a commitment, but to understand that there is a place where you want to take this. Like, we know here, like, you don't go to school just to go to school. You go to school because you're pursuing a professional degree, right? So in the courtship, you're pursuing marriage. You didn't just go in a courtship just to have fun. And like, I'm gonna let baby say more stuff about that, but specifically, I want to say that, man, if you don't have a vision towards marriage, you're just gonna waste your time and your partner's time. And remember, you don't want to do that because that person is just as a child of God as you are, and you need to respect that person's life. And also think about yourself. People don't like to waste time with the studying, but they like to waste time when they're a courtship.
Right. So like you're saying with the studying, when you go into a career, you want to be that professional, you want to graduate, but it's not like you get and then you graduate next day. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes time. It's also the same with courtship, that's your goal, graduation, which is matrimony, but it's not like you're gonna get married the next day. It's gonna take time, but you need to have that vision, that goal. And like you guys were listening in our first podcast about being single, in that time you should be discerning whether matrimony is for you. Now, when you come into a relationship, when you are in a courtship, now the discernment is a little different because now you know that you want matrimony, but now you need to start discerning if this is the person that you're gonna marry. So you can't be just here just because we want to have good time and I want to have an status, I want to post pictures with someone, or just because I need someone to feel all this emptiness, emotional emptiness. I need someone to tell me I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I love you, And the truth is that courtship is not for that, It's not to feel your desires, it's not to feel your weaknesses or your wounds. They're not for that, It's to start building a strong relationship. And like we were talking before, courtship is the base, is like the school of love. If you want to have in your life a good family, which I know most people want, you always want someone to marry and be together until you're old. The same thing goes with courtship. It doesn't happen just like this. It's like, oh, I want a great family. Boom. No, it doesn't happen like that. You need to build that from courtship. So if you do not have this set of mind from the beginning, then you're wasting your time completely.
Yeah. It's like, this is the thing. This is the main goal why there's a lot of, broken families, a lot of divorce. Is because they did not take serious. They didn't take serious what was courtship. And here's the thing, courtship is the most important thing if you ever want to get married. And people be like, well, yes, why? this is the thing. You cannot. It's like I did an example in the Spanish podcast, and it was about going to the moon and being an astronaut. So this is the thing.
Moon.
Yeah, to the moon and beyond. Whatever. So let's say you wanna go to the moon, right? You need to study. You need to become an astronaut, right? Like you're just not gonna get there and then be like, what am I gonna do? And that's the same thing that happens. That's a good analogy, right? That's the thing that happens when you try and pursue marriage and a family. You need to build up from courtship that future marriage. Because if you don't have a good courtship, you're not gonna have pretty much 95%. I would say 99% a good family, a good matrimony, a good marriage. Why? Because if there was not chastity there, where it started off the building of true love and true commitment, truly accepting who you are. And here's the thing, like I understand once you get married, this is a thing that I didn't mention in the Spanish podcast, but it doesn't matter, I will mention it here.
That's why sometimes you need to watch, if you're bilingual, you should watch both, because there's things that we say one and we don't say the other.
It's just the language in the brain, but anyway, this is the point. You know, when you get married, like you walk towards marriage and you believe, and it's right. Once you get married, you're giving yourself to your spouse and vice versa, right? And let's say you want to have sex or whatever, right? And that person feels sick, right? Well, in justice, she should give her body to you because she already given it to you. So she couldn't say no. But there's another thing, like we're just not people from the world. We are men and children and women of God. And we understand that in the natural level, yes, you know, she should give me the sex that I need, right? But in the spiritual level, in the God size, there's something way more bigger than justice, and it is charity. What is
charity?
Charity. And what it means is, I understand she's feeling sick, right? And you know what? It's okay. You feel sick. I don't need to have sex. Like, it's okay. And that comes from chastity in courtship.
From the courtship.
Because if you're not practicing chastity in courtship, it's going to be so difficult for you to negate, to say no to your desires. And we're not saying that sex is bad. It's really good. It's blessed by God from the beginning.
What we're saying is that you learn in courtship, when you practice chastity in courtship, you learn how to sacrifice for each other.
That's right.
And to put like to have the freedom to decide in your own desires. They don't decide for you. You decide.
You decide. It's like you don't let your emotions just drive you.
Exactly.
You drive your emotions, right? Like rational. Yeah, you see that? Another quote. Anyway, so you know, we don't want to extend it so much. I don't know. The last two podcasts is being longer in English. I don't know why, but anyway, the point is, guys, is like, please
practice the steps.
Yeah, practice the steps. Don't let it be just I just listen to it. I'm just gonna man. We're telling you this. We are doing all of this because it's true, you know. And once
we lived it,
and we still live in it. And once we get married in July, hopefully next year, we're gonna say even greater. Because man, let me tell you, if it wouldn't be for chastity, we wouldn't be here, and we would never stop saying that, because that's what's up. And if you don't like it, good for you. So please practice chastity for those first months. If you don't practice chastity, get up. You can do it. In God's name, you can do it.
Yes.
Also, get to know yourself and open up yourself to that person, so that person can truly love you for who you are. And once you do that, you're gonna be even more bonded. It's spiritual and like
you know that person for real.
It's like you don't have more taboos. You just not loving something superficial. You're loving what that is.
Right.
And that is,
there's nothing to hide.
That's right. And also, guys, last thing again, please don't walk in courtship without that vision of marriage. You need to be walking from the beginning. It's not like you're gonna marry the next day, the next 6 months, the next year, but you need to have that vision. Never lose that sight of it, because if you lose the sight of it, you're just wasting your time.
You know, something just came to my mind at the end. I can't believe this, but something that just came to my mind is that also having that vision of holy matrimony as your goal when you start in a courtship is that it also helps you see those red flags more clearly. Because let's say you're just starting, you have a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and let's say that person did something super weird that really got you like, you know, and you need to understand. Sometimes God talks to you in those weird moments, you know, he's like, listen. And then you have to ask yourself, do I really want my husband to do that? You know? So having that vision from the beginning is going to set you in that place in which you're, listen, I do not want that in my future family, whether we work it or that's it. Here's the end. So that's why it's so important. It just came to me at the end.
That's right, baby. Thank you for sharing with us. And you already know, guys, thank you for watching and listening to us in Spotify and iTunes and watching us in YouTube.
And also remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are as Edwin Y Sara _ podcast. And also follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be tuned with all these great podcasts that we're bringing.
That's right. And also share this away, guys. Like, you don't even know the people that need to listen to this, because people think this is taboo. People think this is not worth it. But it's worth everything if you really want to walk towards marriage. Guys, so yes, if you can and God help you, support us economically to have more beautiful content as this is and grow, you know, our content and social media and all of that, and also our wedding in July 2021. We would truly appreciate it. Those you can do that through patreon.com/Edwin Sara, and there you go. Then you can be part of our family and become a Patreon. And soon we'll be giving free stuff to you guys. So you already know, guys, this is what's set for the 3rd episode of Edwin and Sara podcast. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
We are Edwin
And Sara.
Together towards sainthood.